Welcome to the Virtual Strategic Solutions Virtual Reality Simulation System. Accessing Legacy Dataset. Files loaded. Simulation ready. Vault-76 was one of 17 control vaults, part of the overarching Vault experiment. Construction began in February 2065 and ended in October 2069. The maximum capacity was stated to be 500 occupants, and construction blueprints record a capacity of 88. The vault was slated to open to the outside world 20 years after nuclear war, so that the individuals within could emerge to recolonize Appalachia. This day would be known as Reclamation Day. Vault-76 was designed with Lightlife geothermal for its primary power supply and General Atomics nuclear generator as a secondary power supply, but in the end was provided with a pair of super reactors. Its computer control system was Brainpower 4. The overseer was instructed to ignore standard operating procedures, as Vault-76 was deemed a special project essential to rebuilding the United States in the wake of nuclear war. The occupants were some of America's finest, including students from Vault-Tec University, military members and former White House Chief of Staff. Occupants were provided fully furnished apartments, including a bedroom, living room, bathroom, and color television. Vault-76 debuted on July 4, 2076, 7 years after its construction ended, in honor of the United States tercentenary tricentennial of its founding in 1776. An opening ceremony, which was broadcasted on television, was held at the entrance, and its overseer attended. However, in order to become the overseer, she had to break off her engagement with her fiancé Evan, or be transferred to another vault to have him join her in it. After the news of the Great War broke out, Vault-76 was successfully sealed on October 23, 2077, when the air raid sirens sounded for the last time as Chinese nukes headed for American soil. The Vault-Tec security team ensured compliance and defended the individuals as they entered the vault, authorized to use lethal force to ensure only those authorized would enter. Everyone else was considered an enemy combatant. They succeeded in their mission, and the vault door was sealed for the next quarter of a century until the all-clear was given once the radiation levels had subsided to a safe threshold. This was only the beginning of the project. The occupants were a diverse group selected from every walk of life, and apart from the vault staff, all were highly accomplished before the war and possessed competitive personalities. As such, Vault-Tec expected the vault dwellers to present unique challenges in maintaining order. As a last resort, the overseer was granted the ability to lock down each domicile and imprison dissenters for any duration deemed appropriate, with the note to account for the fact that enforced solitary confinement can lead to psychological issues. Furthermore, the security team was provided with less than lethal devices to ensure compliance. Firearms and other munitions were stowed after the amended entry period. For the next 25 years, Vault-76 continued to operate as planned. The overseer found order easy to maintain, though the impressive pedigree of those the vault sheltered and their competence led to the aforementioned unique challenges, most often challenging her authority. To provide them with an outlet for their competitiveness, the overseer instituted a number of awards for the vault dwellers to obtain, as award ceremonies were a great way to placate even the most hardened egos. Altercations aside, one lost a tooth fighting over the Best Dental Hygiene Award. The high point of the program was the Vault-76 World Cup, even if it nearly broke the jukebox. The overseer credited the success to the exemplary service of her loyal and dependable senior staff. Meanwhile, outside of Vault-76, the survivors of the Great War were aware of the vault's existence and wondered why it was still closed years later. In particular, the responders wanted to know if they could open the vault somehow. The vault's ceiling led to the perception from outsiders that the residents of Vault-76 are cushy and privileged, while the rest of the world adjusted to wasteland life. However, Vault-76 also had another objective. The vault's overseer was ordered to find and secure 3 nuclear silos all on her own after its opening. If these sites were still nuclear capable, she was to ensure no one except Vault-Tec could access or launch nuclear ordnance. Any other authorities, government, militia or otherwise, were to be ignored, to ensure that Vault-Tec alone controlled these silos and could deny their use to any third parties, even if it meant going against any surviving United States Armed Forces personnel that would assert control of the silos themselves as part of the US Department of Defense. However, Vault-Tec may have known that the task was impossible for her to accomplish on her own, especially since they purposefully picked someone young and inexperienced for an overseer. As the vault neared the end of its duration and approached Reclamation Day, the situation started to slowly deteriorate. In 2100, the vault was over capacity, with hydroponics struggling to keep up with the demand and mandatory rationing instituted by the overseer. 6 individuals had to be placed under disciplinary lockdown, up from 4 at the end of the previous year, with the morale officer tasked with pacifying rumors about Appalachia around the clock. Nobody wanted to emerge into Appalachia to fight cannibal mutants and brave burning rain. Regardless, tensions were running high, especially with some people being quite difficult to handle. Jake, an arrogant pre-war lawyer, was detested by the security team so much that only one officer could be trusted to be sent down and not strangle him. Furthermore, the Ressies, as the security team called them, started hacking into terminals to learn more about the reclamation and the activation notices. Although the security team made a token effort to curtail unauthorized access, they all knew trying to keep geniuses out of the files was a lost cause. As a result of these mounting concerns, 2102 and Reclamation Day was met with relief from all parties. Some were so relieved they even broke into the stores to enjoy it early. The overseer mandated a Reclamation Day party the day before the activation notice, opening up restricted alcohol stashes and the remaining food supplies. The happiness and cheering in the atrium as the overseer counted down to midnight were second only to the time when the first Vault child was born. The party continued well into the night when the overseer called lights out and had security help stragglers into their beds. Then she and her team went through the final checklists. Standees and supplies were placed along the exit route to the vault door to provide a last refresher course for the Ressies, while the security team went through their duties with record speed, wiping logs, securing non-essential gear and acquiring reclamation packages for themselves. Those who were sheltered by Vault 76 ultimately had no other choice, as the vault itself was designed to cease functioning and be rendered inhospitable 24 hours after opening, a feature intended to force those within to commit to reclaiming the outside world and prevent them from becoming dependent on the vault's amenities. Studies showed that dependency was common, so the kill switch was established and set to kick in after the all-clear message was received after the aforementioned delay. Air circulation would shut down last, giving everyone enough time to leave the vault, but rendering it hazardous for habitation. Only robotic stewards would remain to preserve the remains, while the former inhabitants focused on rebuilding America. The vault opened, and the inhabitants emerged into an unknown world, transformed by nuclear war and a quarter century of the ensuing chaos and decay that followed. Nobody knew what to expect, as the bombs knocked out all of Vault 76's external sensors except for the Geiger counters. Additionally, the overseer had left before everyone else, leaving behind an announcement vaguely claiming she had her own mission to perform in Appalachia. Still, some on the security team were more concerned with internal threats than external ones, as rumors were flying high of who would team up with who after leaving the vault. The competitive inhabitants were already making alliances and pacts before exiting, and anything could happen without some sort of guiding force. The team feared that the Ressies could go off the rails, breaking the respectable record of 25 years without casualties. Although some argued for arming everyone before they leave the vault, using the surplus stocks, the overseer denied the request. They received the standard survival packages and were told to run fast and far away.